Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this new session of the morning briefing. Let's do a recap, as usual, of what happened yesterday. Basically, a day, that we can categorize as a substantial trading range. There was indeed a morning and an early part of the day with an upward push, only to lose everything during the closing phases, and during the night a bit of weakness continued across all the stock markets. Equities, going into detail on a macroeconomic level, there are no important data releases today, so the day should pass quite calmly. In Europe, it's just 9 in the morning, so the European KO markets are about to open. Let's obviously look in detail at the assets we follow, starting with the Nasdaq. At the moment, the Nasdaq, after this nice recovery and a bit of a pullback, then as we initially said, the price is once again resting up on this node that was previously created, which had then determined this this peak and the previous top. So at this moment, it's important to obviously keep in mind for the Nasdaq this SD2, which is currently at 19,770 more or less. So this is the area to monitor on the downside. Obviously on the upside, we are monitoring as at this moment as the first obstacle, we obviously have HV and RSD, RD1, which is this yellow line you see, and so this SD1 and RD1 are in my opinion the limits of this range that we might witness this morning. In short, a breakout on either side will obviously lead to broader movements. These are basically the initial targets. Then obviously the 20,000 mark for the Nasdaq is crucial to recover in order to hope for new attempts, for example in the 25 area, which is represented by all these highs here, which today is represented by the VIX and 1D levels. Okay, let's move on to the Standard & Poor's. Here it is. At the moment, it is working beyond, supported by SU, RD, SD0, and it has also experienced a bit of a setback. Yes, it has leaned on the lows recorded yesterday during yesterday's session. So there might be a bit of a reduced volume here too, between SD0 and RD0, this trading range awaiting a breakout. Obviously on the upside, we need to monitor 5, 7 and 10, 5, 7 and 5 for a potential breakout and attack of higher areas. On the downside, of course, we also monitor, here we definitely monitor SD1 as the first line of defense, but absolutely also SD2 in the area of 5,600, 5,605, where there is this beautiful node that was created after the drop on Thursday evening of last week, only to recover significantly during the night. So this area must absolutely be monitored for any potential bearish attacks. So 5.6 is to be maintained, while on the upside around 5.7 we might also linger in these 100 points for a while, and we'll see what developments occur. We must always be open to all the news that comes to the markets. Let's move on to the other two American futures. They have held up a bit better at 41,000 the level. The Dow Jones has held it for the moment. It also beautifully rested on SD0 this morning, so probably the range will be here, this one, with movements towards SD1 and RD1, which are these in yellow. It seems nicely defined. The range is defined, so clear levels to monitor for potential bullish breaks. Within the range, of course, we can work it in every possible way, both long and short. A similar situation is also on the Russell. It held the 2,000 mark fortunately, and that is the mark it needs to hold, which then corresponds to the lows more or less of the area and the area of these BC3 levels. So we monitor here this area around 2000 with some attacks, perhaps with some slight deviations up to SD1. So SD1 or RD1 also for the Russell seems to me the most sensible range to monitor for any potential breaks. Oh, let's look at the DAX, which has just opened exactly now, a minute ago. The situation is similar. It is also found, even though we said it yesterday morning in the morning briefing, Europe, the American stock futures continue to be some more vibrant compared to the Americans. So we will see if this strength will be maintained and if it will move towards new highs. So the breakout here, in this case of a RD0E, well, it will surely give, well, even though at this moment there was the first candle, this opening one. So then, well, it is broken by a shadow. Probably they might even do a test of SD0 before starting. We will see what will be the developments staying in this range also during the morning and then maybe breaking out in the afternoon. We will see what the developments will be for the DAX as well, for those who follow it. Let's obviously take a look at oil, which has recovered a bit. Well, the drop following the increase in OPEC production, as we mentioned yesterday morning. At the moment, well, it seems quite bright. The price is already close to RD2, so a break of RD2, which then corresponds to this area here, that was the closing area on Friday, could easily bring prices back to the 59 or the 70 area, thus the maximum range area, which then represents the top to break for any potential attacks on higher areas. Okay, so it could easily reach up to here, or even up to 62. Obviously, maybe not in one day, but it could regain some ground, and then we'll see here, because another bearish wave could start. At the moment, we can frame this as a clear rebound after the shock, and a rebound that has been quite effective so far. We'll see if they find the strength to attack. On the downside, obviously, we need to monitor as a first instance not to break back above this 57.50, because a break of these levels, in my opinion, would comfortably bring prices to the 56.50 area first, Mentonta, and then 55.80, unless the decline continues. Let's move on to gold, which made another nice jump last night. It's already at its highs, along with other metals. Silver is also nicely pumped this morning at its highs. So these are situations to monitor. We had mentioned that the obstacle was here to re-enter that area of attacking the highs. Maybe we'll look at it on a broader chart on H1, where we can definitely see it better. Here it is. We had stabilized. We broke this range when we returned to test these lows here that we had indicated, then recovered and tested these lows from below, negated the first instance. They did not update the low. The movement restarted. It broke through the area again, and probably we might witness a new continuation towards the previous highs. Why not? By now, all the previous ones have been broken. We are reworking on the retest from above, so probably from these levels. A new upward push could start. We still have to look at SPX, which I left with this chart that I posted, which still holds all its validity. From here, this wave could always restart, which might drive prices higher. We will see if it develops and how long it will take to develop. Well, this is the situation. On the downside, we are obviously going to monitor 5-6 here as well. This is absolutely the area to watch. On the upside, a break of 5-7 would certainly trigger this bullish push, which I hope will happen. We have studied this chart well, and I hope it will bear fruit. Lastly, let's look at Bitcoin, which lost a bit yesterday. As we said yesterday morning, it retraced quite a bit down to SD2, which probably wasn't SD2 but SD. Today, obviously, it went down to this level of 93.5, and from there it attempted a rebound, retested from above, and then a bit of bullish momentum started. However, it's still very volatile with levels being tested, which can be worked on comfortably. The level I currently consider, well, there's 95 and 94 to 94, but 94,000, 95 to 94. This is the range to monitor. Any potential breakouts, any upwards of SD, of RD1 could easily bring prices back to the highs, and then perhaps go on to retest this area here, okay, of all these highs here and these lows here, and thus corresponding to today's high area. On the downside, we obviously monitor this area here because a break of SD1 would easily lead prices to a test of SD2, whose break would obviously start to become a bit dangerous, because we would be violating a significant range, thus providing ample room for a downward move. Perfect. With this, we have reached the end of this morning briefing. As always, I invite you to follow me on social media, leave a like on the video, and we'll catch up later in the chat. Thank you all for your attention.